Hello YouTube. I I wanted to make a video regarding the video game Prison Architect. This is probably going to be a series. I see many series about this on the internet. Regarding different techniques and approaches to creating what is viewed as the perfect prison in every player's opinions. And what I'm going to do here it is going to be something slightly different because as you can see I'm playing it on the phone. But yeah, without further ado, let's start this shit. So it takes a little while to load up, not that much, but still, that guy's crushing drugs and everything. Oh, there we go. So what we're going to do now, you see that there is the interface relatively similar. Let's turn down, let's turn down the volume here because there is that all that static that the game generates and that creates interference because this app that I'm using to record this also is supposed to capture the actual sound that the game makes, and when the speakers also generate that sound, it creates interference. So what I was saying, the interface, the main menu is pretty similar to the PC version, but quite different, and the the resolution obviously is somewhat different. So here we're going to, and please ignore the background noise. It's the price for living in a condo. So yeah, let's log the game here because I already started running a little show here. It's not, it's just in the embryonal phase, so to speak. So you see I laid out the plan here, and also only built a building that's going to be an utility building for the electricity and the perimeter wall, and the rest is just plan. So let's make a few explanations here on my approach. This video, this first video in the series is going to be more talking and less playing. In the next videos you'll see more actions. But please bear with me in this video because I want to explain my approach and everything that I done here. First of all, I don't know if you can see the balance, but I have 450,547 dollars in the bank. That's quite a huge sum, and the way I started off with so much money is because this game has a feature where you can sell previous prisons and then add that to the initial balance when you start a new prison. So that's exactly what I did. This is not my first prison, obviously. This is a new prison that I started recently, and I used that feature to like have a very comfortable start and do everything properly here. So as you can see, this is a medium-sized map. And the reason I chose a medium-sized map rather than a large map is because of the approach I will take in running this show here, this prison. So in the previous prisons, I tried many different approaches and learned by trial and error. And one thing I noticed is if you want to make a prison that relies on industry, like on a workshop that cuts wood, you make a forestry, and then your inmates cut that wood, those logs from the forestry with a saw, and then you sell the planks, or even more, you may make a carpentry, and also maybe put one press in that shop for license plate, because the shop requires at least one press to run. But yeah, the license plates aren't very profitable at all. The wood related industry is more profitable, much more profitable. But the thing with that is the prisoners will need to be happy. We either need to be happy or suppressed in order not to cause trouble. And when we do cause trouble in the prison, there is something. Eventually, you'll have no, on the short term at least, you'll have no other option than to suppress them in order to, put a stop to their violence or whatever. You'll have no choice but to suppress them in the short term. And the prisoners, if you notice that the prisoners are super hard to please, very, very hard to please. You have to give them a lot of features and amnesties and all of that in order to keep them happy. So suppression is a much easier way to run a prison properly and orderly. And in my opinion, it's much more cost efficient. And because after all, this is a business simulation game, and these prisons are businesses after all. So rehabilitation costs a lot of money, and in here we're not playing with unlimited funds, although there is that option. You can definitely play in this game with unlimited funds, but in my opinion that takes the fun away from the game. I mean, you don't really have an incentive that keeps you on your toes. So we're running with limited funds here. This is a completely private prison, and we want to make it, it's a business, and we want to make it cost efficient. So punishment and suppression is going to be much more cost efficient than rehabilitation and all that jazz. Catering to the prisoners' needs and likes and dislikes and so on and so forth. So yeah, so that's quite a lot of rambling, but yeah, that's why I made a medium-sized prison, a medium-sized map rather than a large map, because I'm not going to waste a lot of space with giving the prisoners um, much more than the minimum bare necessities, and that's pretty much it. And aside from that, I'm going to oppress the shit out of them, and I'm not even going to bother with industry in this game. I'm going to have a completely different approach. So let me explain what my approach will be. You see, we have in here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 dormitories. Each of these dormitories will hold eight prisoners. 8 multiplied by 12 is 96 prisoners. So we'll have 96 minimum security prisoners. Now, minimum security prisoners can be very profitable in two ways. The revolving doorway. You see, they have low sentences, relatively low sentences, and relatively low reoffending rate. So you you give them parole basically to shorten their sentences even further, and the thing with the funds you get from the prisoners in this game, prisoners make money in two ways, directly from the government. When you first admit them in your prison, you get paid a certain amount, a certain fixed amount, um, depending on their security level. For maximum security, you get much more money than for minimum security. And then there is a daily payment from the government for each prisoner, and that daily payment is the same no matter the level of security. So with minimum security, guys, you get that bonus when they're admitted in the prison, which is a smaller bonus. But the thing with them is you can kind of pack them in like sardines and not worry too much about them causing troubles, except for escaping. You'll have to check their dormitories each day, each night, check the toilets. That's how escape works. They only dig from the toilet, and only from the toilet inside the dormitory or a cell. They don't dig from the toilet in the holding cell, and they don't dig from the solitary toilet, in case they even have a toilet in the solitary room. In my case, I won't put any toilet, and you see it empty of the solitary, and it's only one square usable surface. And that would fit a toilet, but I won't put anything in there. It's just going to be a one square room, one square empty room, and the little guy will be flat here in the middle, and think about everything he has done while he's scrapping on the floor on his pants or whatever, and also sleeps on the floor, on that dirty floor that he crapped on, because he won't have a bed or a chair or anything inside of there. So yeah. So another thing is you can cheat a little, especially if you start with so much money as I started, and you can only build like a lot of those solitary cells and the holding cell to be able to admit them in your prison. You can. I'm not sure if you can really admit them without a holding cell. I mean, you can set the intake for them to come if they even if they don't have. Yeah, definitely. You can set the intake for them to come, even if you don't have anything built. And if you have holding cells, if you have solitary cells, you can, and you research the permanent punishment from the lawyer in bureaucracy. You then when they arrive here, the receiving, you can select each of them and choose their rap sheet and put permission the solitary and permanent, and then they will be locked up for their whole sentence in the solitary, and you only need a canteen, a kitchen and a canteen, and the cooks will take the cooked food to the serving tables, and then a guard will take a bowl of food from the serving tables and deliver it to each solitary cell. I think one time a day or something. But it's not. You can't adjust how much prisoners in solitary or in lockdown need. The guard delivers them food, and I think it's only once a day or something. Yeah, and since they even if they had like uh, toilet in the solitary, they don't dig out of that. So that would be like a very easy way to control your prisoners. Every time they arrive, send them all to solitary and have a lot of solitary cells. But in my opinion, that would be a bit like cheating, a little too easy. Wouldn't be much challenge with that. So I'm not going to do this approach. And by the way, give me a second here. The game just froze. It happens sometimes with the mobile version. It's not that stable. Alright, we're back in the game. Yeah, so so let me explain what I did here first, real quickly. I already laid out the plans, so you don't see me really doing and undoing and drawing and deleting and drawing, because I know that's very, very boring to see it, and I don't want to waste any of you guys' time with something that boring. So yeah. So you see, I made a perimeter wall against around the whole joint here, and you see here I placed it quite a bit away from the edge of the map. Why did I leave this little space here that will pretty much not be used for pretty much anything? You may ask me, why didn't I go all the way here? Well, I tell you what, first of all, you can plan on the very edge of the map, but you can't build on it at all. Like, see, I planned the wall here, and if I want to build like a perimeter wall on top of it, surprise, it's red. It doesn't allow you to do so, to build anything on top of it. So the furthest you can bring is like here, just one square above the edge. You see, one square. I go one square to the very edge. It doesn't allow. I go down one square. It doesn't allow. You see. So yeah. So if I would build like here, the perimeter wall like here where it allows me. What would happen in that situation? Well, when a prisoner tunnels out, and considering this thing surrounds the whole joint here. So when a prisoner tunnels out, they will tunnel out to the very edge outside the tunnel, like outside the perimeter wall, or whatever structure surrounds the whole joint. Like in this case, it's a perimeter wall, and I learned this the hard way. Like I had about 20 prisoners escape one night, one morning actually, a prison that I thought it would be unescapable. And still I had 14, I think 14 escapees or something like that. I was like so fucking angry. I kept trembling after that like a mad person. So yeah, when they tunnel out, they will the exit of the tunnel would be here, for example, or here, or anywhere just one square from this perimeter wall on the outside. So if I would place the perimeter wall here, I can place it here on the edge, like I showed you. The furthest I can place it is here. They will tunnel out somewhere around here, right? And then that would be the wormhole. There's this square here. It would be the wormhole, and they would just pop out of here, of that wormhole, and take a step on the edge, outside of that edge, into this little blue outside area, and then they would be gone, and would be escaped. So, in some form of expressing yourself, you can say in some point of view, let's say, you can say that's sort of like that because for them, because this game is a simulated reality, and the whole universe of this game is within these walls, within this map. So when they step outside of these maps, they actually get recycled by the source, and like in the Matrix, they return to the source, and then they get recycled. So that would be like a sort of death for them anyway. But for you, the architect, that would be a pretty shitty situation, because the source will then fuck up with your prison's grading. Like you see here, it's not. You require finance to see it, but yeah, the prison grading is. The prison grading is like the value of your prison, how much money your prison would sell for if you want to sell it, or you can even sell shares of your prison. Like if you want to make some quick money and don't want to sell the whole joint, you can sell shares, and after a time buy them back, probably, I don't know, but yeah, you can definitely sell shares of it as well. And so so yeah, that's that. And yeah, so you don't want any of these prisoners escaping, because there would be you'd lose value for your prison. So let me show you. If you put this here right again, and the prisoner's wormhole is from the tunnel is here, and they take a step out and they escape. The sniper won't have time to blow their way back in that situation, because it's just one instant, just like that. It took a step and they're off the map. But if I left that little space between the edge of the map and the edge of the map and the perimeter wall, you see there's like nine squares that they have to cross before they make it to freedom. either from here or from here, but it's actually 8 squares, because one square is going to be the wormhole, and then there's only 8 squares remaining. And let's maybe one step outside, so 8-9 steps they would have to take, but the snipers, yeah, this is and there will be a sniper tower here where I put this mark, and here they have for 50 squares range, the sniper, so it is then 48 with a 48 squares distance between them, so they will cover the whole area. So yeah, they will have in this situation, in this layout, they will have plenty of time to blow back the wake of any would-be SCPs. And by the way, there's going to be like a fire at will policy in here. So yeah, you try to run, you get your wig blown back. You cause problems, you either get your wig split or your wig blown back. But you're not leaving here unless you're released or parole, serve your sentence, or paroled or in a body bag. That's the only way you're leaving this place, because this facility is called Camp Flagspell for a reason. Once you're here, your time has come. So yeah, you either live here by serving your full sentence, or on parole, or in a body bag. That's the only ways you leave this place. So yeah, now that so yeah, the policy is taking in a healthy number of minimum security prisoners that are going to be in and out, have that revolving door keeps spinning, and also, as I heard, when they get paroled, you also get some money. But it would lower your prison's grading if you have a high offending grade. So you may want to be careful with that parole, and only give parole to prisoners that have a low reoffending rate, and the reoffending rate for the parole, it can be set from the prison policy. I will show you once I unlock that. For now, I don't even have a warden, so I can't even access this bureaucracy tab in here. Where you research stuff, I can't even access it yet. So yeah, so that's that for the minimum security prisoners, the revolving door, and keep them oppressed, and keep them suppressed, like not to cause trouble, but not to make them work either. In a workshop, or maybe in the cleaning cupboard, and in the laundry, because that doesn't require any qualification. But the kitchen and the workshop, they do require qualification, and also the carpentry as well. And carpentry is quite difficult to learn. It takes more time, so yeah, so it's not even worth it for me. It's too much trouble. To keep unnecessary complications at bay. So this cell block here, this section, this wing, I would want to call it here. This is going to be the medium security. You see, it didn't make it that big, but not that small, not that small either. I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and multiplied by 3 is 48. So I have 48 cells for medium security prisoners, and the thing with these cells, you see, I have to research small cells through bureaucracy, through lawyering bureaucracy, in order to make these cells usable, because otherwise they're too small. They're like the minimum size possible for a cell. Like a cell requires a bed, which is 2 squares, 1, 2, and a toilet, which is the third square. And on this third square, I'll also put a shower head and a drain, because you can overlap those things on a single square. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I don't want public showers in this prison, because that's where shit hits the fan. Usually they shank each other and whatnot, spit each other's sweets and stuff, and I don't want any of that. So, you see, I will make a shower though here next to the holding cell, because the grant that I will take, because I will still take the grant, obliges me to do so, but I will take shower time out of the schedule in the regime, and they will shower when they feel like it in their own cells during lockup time or during free time, rather than be forced to go to a designed shower area and shower and shank each other or stuff. So yeah. But in order to use those cells, actually those cells as of now are too small to be designed as cells, because they don't fit the minimum requirement for the surface. But after I research more cells through bureaucracy, they will become usable, and because the minimum size for cells will be eliminated. But for the dormitories, they still have minimum size requirement. So you see in here, I made huge, it's not huge, but I made much more uh, cells those are going to be for maximum security. You'll also want more maximum security, because they give you a decent bonus and they're admitted in, and you can also like make money just like kicking them around. The daily grant from the government for each prisoner, which is going to be the same as for the minimum prisoners, but the initial price for accepting them will be quite something, and their sentence will end as well, and sometimes you may even give them parole as well, if anything. So yeah. So in this area here, this this area here, this is going to be the maximum security, the supermax security wing. And yeah, I have a decent number of cells here too, and quite orderly. And this bit here is going to be the death row area when it's research. And this this will probably be the actual execution room, I think. I'll see if it fits requirements once it's unlocked. And here it's going to be the uh, the current room for the clemency plea clemency plea hearing, clemency appeal hearing, because the thing is, when you get in death row prisoners, they will have a chance of clemency around 50%. And what that means is that if they make a clemency appeal, and they will make a clemency appeal if you have the parole room, and I think it has to be set for death row only in order to be used for clemency appeal hearings. If you have that parole room and they hold the clemency appeal hearings, what will happen? There are three likely outcomes. First outcome, they get clemency and they become supermax, maximum security or supermax prisoner instead of a death row one. Their death penalty is converted into a prison penalty, like death detention penalty. That's one outcome. The second outcome is they could be proven innocent and acquitted, in which case they will be released. And the third outcome would be they get their clemency appeal denied. So if they get it denied, their chance for clemency will lower. The percentage will lower, and they will need to keep having those appeals until the clemency reaches, I think, 5 including or below. And when they reach that percentage, it's safe for you to execute them without repercussions, and you get $10,000 payment for executing them, which is quite a bit of money in this game, quite frankly. And if you execute them before that, and they get proven innocent afterwards, post-mortem, in that case, you'll get a fine, and I think I'm not sure if it happens the first time or you have to do it a few times, but you will get the other death row prisoners removed from your prison, and if you do it one more time after that, you get and you have sailor conditions activated. You will get sacked and as an architect and imprisoned in your own prison. So yeah, but you get a letter for the phone call from the CEO before that happens to warn you not to do it again. But just so you know, if you have fatal conditions, that's what's gonna happen if you execute innocent people. And that's one thing. And the other thing is you can research liability. I think something state liability, I think, or something, or government liability or something like that. And In that case, it's safe to execute prisoners with 10 clemency chance or below, and if they are proven innocent, the state will be, or the government will be held liable, and not you as the prison's architect or the prison's governor or whatever you want to call yourself. You won't be held liable if you unlock that through bureaucracy. But yeah, so I think you need for that. I think you need a parole room to be sent for death row. I'm not sure if it has to be a different parole room set for death row or any parole room, but just in case I prepared it here for paroles, and I think that would be the execution chamber. If it fits the requirements, I have no way to know yet. I will see once I unlock that. I'm not in any hurry. And yeah, this here is going to be the kitchen and the canteen for the death row. Prisoners, they need their separate kitchen and canteen, and they won't go actually the canteen, you know. You will have to place serving tables and benches in here because that's the requirement for the canteen. But the guards will take the food, the cooks will put the cooked food in the serving tables, and the guards will take the cooked food from the serving tables and deliver it to the holding, to their cells here, which would make the guards glorified food couriers, basically, on top of many other things that the guards are. So yeah, that's that. Um, Here I made a huge canteen that is going to be accessible by the whole prison. You see, I carefully planned this layout. I pretty much sealed off every wing here to make those corridors shared spaces and still keep different levels of security from mixing. Um, in here is the holding cell. What else? In here is going to be the cleaning cupboard. Here is going to be the laundry. Here is going to be the medical wing. And here the psychologist office, I think. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna give them. I don't think I'm even gonna give them a common room. I'm not sure, I'm still thinking if they deserve it or not. But for now, I'm not in any hurry to give them that. And yeah, outside I put, like I showed you, I put a perimeter wall. And oh, I forgot about this space here. You see, they could dorm out of here and make a run for it. It's very little gap here between the actual wall and the actual edge of the map. But there's a catch. I will unlock the option to buy more land, and I will buy more land in this side, in the east. So that's going to resolve that problem. There will be much more land in here. So the edge will be further, so the snipers on this side when I add them, will also have plenty of time to blow their wigs if they're trying to escape through that route. So yeah, that's that. Then I made sort of an outdoor airlock with road gates here because what I noticed in the past I used to make the delivery area indoors, and I hope the new prisoners will be dropped indoors actually if I make the delivery area indoors, but that didn't happen. and they were still dropped here. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, they were still dropped like around here on the outdoor and in the middle of the road or like here on the sidewalk and just left and the prison bus would go and they just left there and out in the open and back then didn't use to make any fence or not even a fence, let alone a perimeter wall. So I didn't dig that at all. And I didn't have the skills that way. Nobody made a run for it. Although they could very well make a run for it. Like, let's say here, it's very, very close because they don't have another thing when they're escaping. They don't necessarily have to go down this route and go here in the south, and especially on the main road. They can, to escape, they just have to step off the map into this blue area, outside area here, or on any side of the map. So yeah, from here it would be very easy to make a run for it. But for some reason we didn't. Even if I didn't have anything surrounding this area at all, or many guards or anything, they would just sit outside in the open and wait to be processed peacefully. But I didn't think that at all, as I say, I like security. So, so yeah, that's why I make this like outdoor area. And what's gonna happen when the prison bus comes? I could even sometimes I do that for extra, like if I want to be pretentious, let's say I lock this door shut, this road gate shut, and then the prison bus comes here and stops to drop the prisoners. He stops here, and it can't go further anyway because of the prison of this gate being shut. And then I shut these gates behind the bus and lock it shut, and then this whole area is like completely closed, and this whole area here is like completely closed until all the prisoners are taken inside to the reception and to their respective accommodations. So sometimes I do that, but anyway, I will have an guard and sniper tower here. Here, where you see this little market on this and whoever is sending me this notifications doing me feeling video game is an absolute hit, and so forget that. So with this careful layout here, they like here with their life they don't have anywhere to go until they're taken inside. So yeah, so this is like a hallway for entrance. This here is going to be a lobby that will lead to different places, and it will have solitary doors here, here, and here to add a little mystery. Like whenever you don't want, or I personally don't want the other people to know what exactly what's behind the doors or see behind the doors, they put a solitary door. For example, in here in the reception area, the prisoners are going to be strip searched. So you want some dignity for them, even if they're in prison. They still deserve some dignity. So yeah, to preserve that, you put a solitary door here. So here someone will guard, so not just everybody sees them naked, and also put a solitary door here to like have them wonder what's behind the door. Maybe that's ancient, and they're brought in. And trust me, I was personally both in a jail and in a prison, and in countries that don't have really the prettiest jails and prisons, like almost third world countries. So it's quite an experience the first time, but yeah, never mind that. I don't want to talk too much about that fact. So yeah, so here it's another door that will lead to the parole room that is going to be here. It is going to be here. And later it's going to lead to the death row. And I just noticed I didn't plan for a way to actually get into the death row without having to go through here. So let's correct that. All that should do very nicely. Very, very nicely. Yeah. Right. And now, not really, I mean, shoot. I mean, we can add the door here, and you go through solitary area, but yeah, you'll have to deal with that, I guess. Like, why not? Let's have the solitary guys a little entertainment, see the dead man walking. If that can be called entertainment, then you're a real hidden, but yeah, anyway. It's a maximum security prison after all. We can't expect the people to be the most noble creatures in a place like that. Um, yeah. So that's pretty much for the plans. I forgot to explain this area here. You'll see me building it in the next video anyway, but for now I'm just explaining the layout. So in here is the administrative wing area, whatever you want to call it. And some standard offices. Here is going to be the foreman's office. Here is going to be the staff room, which is not technically an office, but still it's going to be this is going to be more like the staff area. Here is going to be the chief's office. Here is going to be the security room, or the first security room, because we might need more of them. But for now, one will do very nicely. If we need anything more security related, we can expand here. Here is going to be the accountant's office. Here is going to be the lawyer's office. And my favorite part, in case you didn't figure it out, this huge monstrosity here. Look at that, look how big it is. compared to everything else. This huge monstrosity here, in case you didn't figure it out yet, is going to be the warden's office, and it's gonna have paraphernalia of stuff in it, and if you didn't figure it out yet, considering this is going to be a very secure and very suppressive prison, the warden will obviously be Rita. But if it would have been Sephora Nova, and another thing, Sephora Nova would have been also probably a very money efficient warden, because she sells the contraband that's found, and you also get the prisoners also get fined directly from their saving accounts when they are caught with contraband. And in previous prison, especially the previous prison that I sold to get the money for building this prison, and it was also a very suppressive prison as well. And in that prison there was a shitload of contraband, which if Sephora Nova would have been leading that show as the warden, it's actually me, the architect, that's leading the show. But if she'd be the warden there, she could definitely, at least for role-playing stuff, for role-playing purposes, should have had a very, very luxurious office with a paraphernalia of luxurious items, because she definitely deserved that, considering how much contraband she gets to sell. But if it's going to be Rita, it's also gonna be somewhat luxurious, because quite luxurious as well, because she needs to show everybody who's the boss, like she's the master suppressor, mistress suppressor, or whatever you want to call her, and she needs to show everyone who's the boss here. And she's also quite weird, and you wouldn't be surprised if you find in her office a thumbscrew or a maiden. You wouldn't be surprised at all. So this huge monstrosity here is going to be her office, and you're gonna love just what crazy stuff I'm gonna put in there. But for now that's it. That's it with the planning, and it's enough for one video. So let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up for now, and call it a plan. And I'll see you next time for a new episode. And until the next video, stay awake and stay free. Goodbye.